the greater the glory to see the victory. So the more intense of the problem in oppositions, in attack to you, okay, interpret those things as a place of growing in understanding that greater victory is on the way. Kung si Pacquiao hindi nag-exercise ngayon sa November fight, matatalo siya. So he have to do the very best that he can, the very best that he know before he can beat one of the top guys in the early division. Pacquiao now is 145 pounds. Now, in verse 20, the God of the heaven will help us succeed. This is the way to confront any intimidation and lies of Satan. When the intensity and the attack and the proposals of mixed things are surrounding you, I want you to hear that the God of heaven will help us to succeed. You know, church, many walls in Australia are broken down. We're confronted with so many broken homes. We've been hearing, regardless of nationalities, of many divorces, of premarital sex, adultery, fornication become a lifestyle at the very young age of fornication, very young age of 13, 14, 15. They're already indulging or doing some kind of exploration. The increase of Satanism and the Seven Hells area and some of the area, somewhere in the Box Hill area, the Antichrist and the Spiritism, and then the lukewarm Christians in many churches of Australia in our time. I want you to see these things. That's why we're praying for them. Christian homes, dedicated Christian churches are not exempted to this. Now you can see many junk and garbage movies in cities that are circulating huge and great number of them are being embraced with the so-called people of God or Christians. One of the powerful weapons of Satan to the believers is to teach them, this is a strong word, but it's happening in the Old Testament from the time of Moses to the time of the New Testament. We call it compromise. Now, the compromise is to the Christian, but you adapt, you accept, you're gonna enjoy a little bit, you taste, you embark, you exploit, you interpret things. Used to be unacceptable 20, 30 years ago. It was not acceptable 30 years ago. But as the days go by, because of the changing culture and everything is what we call acceptable in our day and age, the once abomination to the Lord, now it is okay. It is just an expression of the human weaknesses. It is not. It is the desire of the appetites of man leaning toward the temptation that is given by the enemy. Now, excuses is, hey, pastor, everybody does. And I'm not ignorant about these things, what's happening in the world today. I can manage myself. I will not go beyond. You know, I said to you, I think yesterday, I could not believe, and I love the family. I was communicating to them today by telephone, and I don't invite them to this or something is happening, and I know them 11 years ago. You cannot believe that people who are dedicated and simple and loving are now going down because of unfaithfulness, and then later on, I hope and I pray it won't go that far for divorce. You cannot believe that precious family are now one of the list of Satan to destroy. Now, what is the message? If you compromise a little bit, one small opening, it will become 1 foot, 1 meter, until one day you don't have strength anymore to stand up. You thought you're still strong, You found out you're like Samson. When you're trying to fight the enemy, you are bound because the Spirit of God, the power of God is no longer in you. But the power of temptation that satisfies your flesh become your God. Still, you think about God, you love God, but you have no more power because of compromise. In other words, don't play around with sin. When it is black, it's black. It's not black and white, no. It's black. When it's brown, brown or white. You know, I give you a story of a person who wants to it's an animal. It's a wolf who want to be like a sheep. You know, it's not that easy because sheep are being taken care of by the shepherd. So one day the wolf was so smart, and there was some kind of leather there that's, you know, ready to be sold. And what he did, he covered his body, this is a wolf, with a sheep's clothing. That's compromise, trying to blend with what was happening there. This is, you know, what happened is, of course, he could eat sheep after sheep, day after day, because he was wearing sheep, but he was a wolf every day. One day, 4 o'clock in the morning, here comes the shepherd, and he has to get one sheep to be butchered and get something, you know. And sad to say, he didn't know that it was the wolf. The wolf was taken, and he died without knowing that he was the one selected. I don't know what happened, and he died by just covering himself like a sheep's clothing. That deceit paid the price. He died early. In other words, you and I cannot play around with sin or compromise. This is it. When you become a Christian, though you are weak, it is still faltering and fail is all right. When you say all right, God will pick you up. But when you and I deliberately leaning toward the things that God said, that is not the direction, and you insist, something is going to happen. And because God is saying, if that's your prerogatives and that's your decision, I'm sorry. I cannot play with darkness and light. I will roll my sleeve, and that it's up to you in your own decision. But one day you will suffer pain and agony. Come back to me now. So church, this is something that we have to understand in this changing culture. The word compromise. Once it was sin before, now it is okay. You have seen, was that Britney Spears and Madonna kissing each other? Can you see that? And many years ago. And people say, wow, bravo. That is not acceptable today. They love it. Men to men, publicly, in the CD videos. And there are two actors, two men, in doing the mouth-to-mouth for so long in the television seen by millions of people. Do you think that is acceptable? It's okay, Pastor. I can manage. I don't believe in that. No. When you're watching, the tendency is you become beginning to enjoy until one day you're hooked in your throat and you become dead meat, because Satan, timing for Satan, it doesn't bother him. It is 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Time element to Satan in his demon is immaterial. He can catch you in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, and you can believe after 55 years of marriage. I have seen people like this. 60 years of marriage, Pastor, who are now on the point of divorce after 60 years of marriage. It blew my mind. Something entered into that relationship that they did not see it early. It could have been healed early if they have confided it early. They're on the point of breaking up after 6 years of marriage. I could not believe. I have seen them. Pastor, this is it. The kids are all grown up. I have no grandkids and I have now decided I have to divorce my husband. Wow. So guys, when you begin to serve the Lord, mean business. Don't play around. Okay? So that is, okay, so you cannot manage. Families of God begin to repair the walls of your respected dwellings. Your spiritual walls. I'm not talking about the wall like that. Your spiritual walls that are going down and some are flat to the ground. To some they cannot distinguish what is righteousness and unrighteousness. Everything is relative, and everything is just normal. I give you an example. I want you to see this beautiful examples and analogy so you can picture what I was trying to transmit to you. Put a frog in a kettle, I should say. Put some small amount of water. Put it on the top of your stove. A frog. He's just so comfortable there, and then I want you to do is slowly higher the temperature. It won't be long. The frog would be cooked without noticing the increases of the temperature. Why? The body is adjusting slowly to the heat and finally kill the frog in its comfortable feeling. And also, to many of you who love spa, the moment you jump into spa, it's 38 degrees, 35 degrees, it's really hot, isn't it? Hot. But later on, it's like warm. Did you notice that? You're ready for 15 minutes. It's good feeling. But the first time, oh, no way. The same thing with sin. When you open up the door in that little sin, one day you get used to it, you become desensitized, and you don't know if it's wrong or not because you have no more knowledge. Satan jumped in and said, I got you. You're part of the team. So challenges, when you become serious servants of the Lord, this thing is going to happen. This is how subtle Satan is, giving people a small dose of enjoyment that eventually make them satisfied, look for more.